coming at you live from a couple of stools in the low-class studios. This is a feminist and a comedian walk into a bar. I am Justin Golak. I'm a comedian. Papa's back in town.
Hey, Papa. I've had that
Daddy's
Hey Santa
home.
song stuck in my head all day.
Hey, Santa?
Hey, Santa. Hey, Santa, Santa.
Oh, is that the slutty Christmas song?
No.
What's the one, who sings
I just
that
make
one?
every Christmas song a slutty
Yeah,
Christmas song.
okay. Well, it's the one, Santa Baby.
Santa Baby. Or
Whoever is
or
like,
the kid.
whoever is like the slut of the moment sings that song.
Yeah, that's true. It is sort of. I remember Jessica Simpson did it.
Yeah. It's like, that's why. It's like either you're the slut of the moment or you're trying to like break your non-slut image.
But like still seem kind of clean because it's a Christmas song.
Because it's a Christmas song.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But also it's like good if you're like, I want to make some money off a Christmas album, but I don't want to lose my rep.
Totally.
I'll cover the slutty
and
song.
also take it up a notch.
It's just, it's used.
Slutty Santa.
It's used a lot. It's like the, you know, it's like the,
Multi-purpose.
like, it's like, you know, the topless scene in a movie. Or I feel even like the sex scene. I feel like men have used like even like the males, like, what was that? Like James Vanderbeek, he did that one movie based off that book. What was that?
Oh, I don't know.
Where he's like in college.
Oh, Rules of Attraction.
Rules of Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he doesn't show like dong or anything, but you know, he's just kind of a douchey guy that fucks a lot.
After Dawson's Creek. Yeah, that was.
Like actresses and actors use like the topless scene or the nude scene or the sex scene to like brand or rebrand, and I feel like the same way
With
musical artists use
Santa
the Santa Baby to either stay on brand of slutty or rebrand slutty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know. All right. So, anyways,
Good stuff.
I'm a comedian. With me, as always, Jackie Manti. She is a feminist. Oh, we skipped sipping on. I'm sipping on. I kept it boring, but it's a little rainy out. It's fall.
It's so
it's
gross
November.
out. Chicago's been gray for weeks.
Oh, I should have listened to November Rain today. I always like to listen to November Rain when it gets rainy in November.
One of my favorite jokes of yours is that your stripper song is November Rain when you get like a private lap dance because it's like the longest song ever.
Yeah. No one ever got it. No one ever got it.
No, I don't think I got it either. You told me about it.
Yeah. It always like died.
I think I said I liked the joke, and then you're like, you get it? 'Cause never gets it. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally got it.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a great joke, but you know, it's what you perceive on stage. Like
I've never heard of it being a long song.
I've definitely, as a creative, I'm sure I've gotten cunty about like, you don't get it, I'm into genius. But I really don't have that because like joke writing I think is relatively easy compared to like songwriting. Like if a joke bombs, I'm almost like grateful because I'm like, I'll just write another joke. You know, it's almost just relieved to be like, all right, time. I'll just write a new thing.
Rather than like a medium.
Yeah, then you're like, well, did I tell?
Joke.
Do I need to work on it, or is it always going to be medium,
Yeah.
or was it this crowd? Do I not need to change it? And now
Right.
you're like, now I got to do this thing 10 times. But if someone just eats shit, you're like, okay, I thought it might have been bad.
Is that one that ate shit?
Well, that's my point. Is like again, like I'm not saying it's the most clever joke, but the only thing that always annoyed me about it is because like you can start to feel different reactions. And I feel like it was a reaction of that joke sucks. I just felt this clear energy of like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just feel I don't get it energy.
Mm.
And I'm like, I want you to get it. And then you can be like, I get it, but it's not that clever. Then that's fine. Like I said, then I'll just toss it. I'm not mad. But anyways, have we talked about this? I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast
Not on
before.
the podcast, no. But we've talked about it before.
Probably because I brought up November
You bring up
Rain.
November Rain pretty frequently.
It's just a good song. But I'm, you know, it's a rainy November day. I think I did this last week. But, you know, that was a great podcast. So maybe there's a little bit of that into this decision as well. I also have a drink idea, but I wasn't able to stop. The ingredient I want for my drink is seasonal, and it just hit shelves.
What is it?
I don't want to reveal.
Oh,
I'll
spoiler.
tell you off air,
Teasing
as they
for
say. Isn't that the
next week.
biggest tease when you hear that on like a podcast or a
What?
radio show? We're like, I'll tell you off air. And then you're like, ooh. It's not that it's not going to be revealed. It's just not going to be revealed to me.
To me, I gotta keep listening.
It's like a seasonal thing, and it's like I saw like a big version of it, and I was like, I'm just gonna waste it. I just need it for like a beverage. So I'm gonna try to find like a smaller single serve version of it at like a gas station or something. But I just haven't seen it yet. But I'll see it very soon, and probably by this next episode or the one after that, I'm sure I'll have it in tow.
It's like the time I almost bought an entire lavender plant for a drink, and then like the only thing that stopped me is that there were ants all over the anyway.
It sounds like a very Jackie
It's
story.
so
and then you
Jackie.
didn't even end up liking it because of the
Well, 'cause
literally the lavender part.
little stuffs. they were getting stuck in my teeth.
Anyways, I'm sipping on some Dewar's 12, baby. Let me take a little sip now into the mic. Do not no, you ruined it. I think the whiskey sip has like a great, I wanted to give some like oral.
Okay.
Is that how you say it? How do you say it? Like AUR?
You wanted to give some oral.
Well, I'm not having fun anymore, so we're just going to move on. Jackie Manti, what are you slipping on?
Auditory, is that the word?
No, oral, like AURAL.
Yeah. I'm drinking on some LaCroix Before Boys.
LaCroix before. Oh.
LaCroix. We got it for a party we were gonna go to, and so we have a bunch of it in the fridge. But I got the pamplemousse, which I figured out is French for grapefruit. I love that they say pamplemousse and then like in parentheses grapefruit.
It's just weird because like none of the other beverages are French.
I know
named.
they're like lime.
But is LaCroix French? That makes sense because it's got the X.
I
guess it makes a little more sense now. I'm less mad about it.
Although it totally seems like something that would be an American company that brands itself as French.
It super is. I think it's from Wisconsin or something. It's like a super boring white person place. Yeah, something. I think it's Wisconsin. Maybe. Who cares? I think that shit's gross, but I don't like tonic water. It's got that bitter aftertaste.
It's good for parties.
Good.
It's good for parties because it's like I can put
LaCroix.
it in.
It's good for parties.
Good for parties. I can put it in it's French and good for parties. I can put it in a koozie, which I like, and I can drink a lot of them at a party and not feel
yeah, because you don't want to drink.
Yeah,
you don't want to drink like 10 sodas, but you just pound LaCroix.
Right.
You put it in a koozie, you get less questions. I get it.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I remember you doing it a lot in the summer.
It is made in Wisconsin. Yeah. La Crosse, Wisconsin.
There it is. All right.
La Crosse, L-A, new word, C-R-O-S-S-E. They're like, we're going to Frenchify everything. LaCroix.
Pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse.
All right. So this is FemComPod. You can find info about the podcast, previous episodes, I don't know, pretty much everything that you would need, I would assume, at FemComPod.com. Like, subscribe. We got links to iTunes, Stitcher. You can get we're hosted by Podbean. You can get the Podbean app and you can listen through that. I mean, there's so many options, but honestly, I thought Google Play aggregated automatically. So we weren't on Google Play, but just because I didn't know you had to submit like you do for iTunes and Stitcher, but I did, and we're live. So I use Google Play for music. I've never used it for podcasts. But we're there now. Yeah. So if you were like, well, I wanted to subscribe, but I do Google Play for everything, and I didn't see you guys, so sorry. Well, I'm also sorry, but now
no excuses.
Now, yeah, there's no excuses, except for the fact that now you Google Play listeners are not listening because of that to listen to this new message.
Oh, that's true.
But like what do I use? Pocket Cast, you use Podkicker. Like you just search it, we're there. Any of those aggregating apps were there, but any of the big providers, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play now. Not Spotify, because they pick and choose. You can't submit to Spotify. So fuck them. / you can listen to my new album, American Apathy, on Spotify. So fuck them. Just mouth fuck them. I think that's about it. Lowclass.com for everything. LO-class.com. And why don't you hit up that Patreon? We got a bonus episode coming out this month. Yeah. It's like a bonus episode because it's not even promised in the rewards. But we promised it on air last week.
Yeah.
And now I feel like we're going to be so busy and now it's going to be like a headache. But
it'll be fun because we promised to watch Birds of a Nation and then talk about it.
Either way, bonus episode because it's not even one of the ones promised. So that'll be out this month. And all you got to do, give us $1 on the Patreon rewards tier. And you can get it. But if you want other shit, just go up the tiers and get some physical shit with that shit. Or even you can submit a topic to this podcast, one of the tiers. And some of those, like the physical, we have a limited amount of physical stuff. And we don't want to be just doing just your topics. So all those have limits.
Their own perks.
So don't let them slip away. But the $1 one is unlimited. And it's cheap. And you get bonus stuff. And I don't know. I like creating. And if I know, honestly, it's not even money. What do you think is as an artist, what do you think is like the biggest thing that kind of like just kind of squelches your creativity or your production level? Because for me, it's audience. For me, it's like, I'll put 8 hours into this. No one's going to watch it. It just feels silly,
Oh, really?
you know? So that's my thing is like if we add, 20, 30, 40, $50 subscribers, it's not like that's a ton of cash, but it's the fact that I
You
would
feel supported.
not even support it. I would just be like, oh, I'll record an extra podcast this week. 20, 30 people will
Yeah.
hear it or have a chance to hear
Well, that's
it.
the hardest thing about making art, right? Is that no one
Right.
needs it.
So my point is, I think I think our quote unquote promise, um, what we promise at the $1 is enough. But just know if you subscribe to that tier on Patreon, if you get some friends to share it, I'm sure we'll come out with tons of other bonus. Again, no promise, because then we're in a whole legal thing. Now we're getting sued because of my big mouth. So no promise, but allegedly you'll get more. I mean, that's why we got a few subscribers earlier than I thought. Like we got some Patreons, so that's why I was like, let's do an episode early. Why wait till 2008? And that's all. We just got a couple. If we get in the dozens, more content for you, baby. More content to get through your all day, right? Because you didn't take the chance. You took the shitty job. Now you're there every day. And you need something to get you through, right? But you know what? We eat ramen, so you don't have to struggle, and you just get to enjoy the content. Patreon.com/LOClass no dash. All right, let's get into topic one.
Yeah.
Remember when I was like, let's try not to go long on this
I know.
podcast?
And then you're like,
Then I talked about
20-minute
Patreon
opener.
for 20 minutes. That's all right. We just won't talk about the serious issues for too long. All right. So Danny Masterson is getting accused of what his general face and demeanor has always told us he be raping. So
He be raping.
Danny Masterson's be raping.
Danny Masterson is the
He was
hippie guy.
He was the hippie guy from
that 70s
70s show. Now he's on The Ranch with
Have
the
you watched
Kutch.
that?
No.
No, me either. Was it a funny show or like?
Yeah, it's like literally like a 3-camera sitcom, right? But like on Netflix.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So anyways,
He does seem kind of like a dick.
so obviously we got like Kevin Spacey, right?
Right.
Now he's been touching little kids or younger kids, touching medium kids. And also apparently the show he got fired from, what is it? House of Cards. Like 8 people said that just on that show, 8 people were like, yeah, he's touching me on the show.
Yeah, now there's all this stuff going.
So you could use that as an argument of why people were so swift to boot him. Because it's like, dude, you're doing it on the motherfucking show. We got to boot you.
You know what makes me angry, though? Netflix had to have known about it. They had to have had complaints before that. But now that it's public, they're like, we got to get rid of you, Spacey.
Point is just to be devil's advocate, Masterson is still on the ranch with plans to keep going with the ranch. Like,
and does Netflix produce it? Like,
yeah, it's like a Netflix original. So Ranch season 3, I think, is coming out this December, and they still have season 4 slated. Like they haven't canceled it, but they haven't started filming it either. But
they've taken no action, and they've said they're waiting.
They're waiting.
Okay.
And the thing is.
Well, you know the difference. These are women who were raped versus boys who were molested.
I mean, that's what I threw out as devil advocacy. But what I'd like to talk about is a more specific thing mentioned in this article that I read about it that I think honestly could be the difference and is fucking more frightening than I think people give it credit for. And because there's all this touching stuff going on in Hollywood right now, like I said, I think because we talked about it last week because it's the hot thing. So I think there's about 2 more weeks where everyone's going to get accused, and then you'll never hear about this again.
I don't want to lose that point of like, that is worth discussion. Not here, but like, is it because it's women who are saying, you know what I mean? Our tendency is to not believe women when they say it, but when Anthony Rapp called out Kevin Spacey, immediately it was like, oh my God.
I don't think we believe boys more than women. I think we find the crime more egregious, so we're more swift.
Homophobia?
No, I think it's like the one good instinct in humans that we want to protect kids from awful.
Oh no, I don't mean the kid. I don't mean the age thing. I guess. Sorry.
Yeah, to me it's the age thing. To me it's the age thing. To me, if it was
because like the people on set are.
To me, our outrage is like leveled. To me, our outrage is leveled at underage boys, underage girls, and then a big drop women, and then right below that like men of age in how we care about their rapes.
Oh, jeez.
But anyways, like I said, I really do think this is important in this story. And like I said, just to kind of break through the static of like just general talk about harassment, I just think this is really interesting. And it's through the lens of a harassment case, which is big news now. So Apparently, there's 4 major accusations against Masterson. Now, um, the one girl that went to the cops, apparently, again, like they're not, it's like all, criminal cases. Like they're not releasing, major
Yeah.
specific info, but I guess the LA DA has said that the evidence, or maybe it was the LAPD, I don't know, just like LA law enforcement and criminal justice has said that the one woman who went to them, one of the 4, um, the evidence was kind of overwhelming
Mm-hmm.
against Danny Masterson that he raped this girl. I think what she said is that she like passed out, maybe drugged, didn't know, but she passed out, and then she woke up and he was having sex with her, and then she tried to stop him, and then he like choked her until she passed out again, and then like I guess finished.
It was like
Um,
'04, right?
I don't remember exactly, but apparently a big kind of roadblock in this is that Masterson is part of the Church of
Mm-hmm.
Scientology, and as soon as she went to the cops, 50 people showed up to refute her story,
Oh my gosh.
just giving claims that she was a liar, that they didn't go into specifics about what they said, but basically refuted her claims and said she was lying. And the problem was that 2 of the women didn't go to the cops because you are not, according to church rules, supposed to go to the police um, and accuse people from. If you're in the Church of Scientology, you're not supposed to tell the police
Mm-hmm.
about things that people in the church have done. You're supposed to go through their hierarchy. And 2 of the women did that. And of course, since they are probably just nobody women and he's a celebrity and they love their celebrities in
Yeah.
that church, they covered it up. And I think that seemed to be why the 3rd one went. Because I think the 3rd one was a member. And she was like, well, this is clearly not going to get resolved.
So those other ones happened before this one that went to the police?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really important.
But either way, they did through the church, and this one did.
Which is how, I mean, from Leah, how do you say her name? Remini's show, like, that's a big point that, Scientology, they want to handle any issues and
It's like anything. It's like any
crimes
college.
or things that they want to handle it internally.
Any college,
So
any
you're encouraged
church,
to tell
the Catholic Church.
internal
yeah.
before you actually get law.
Totally.
Right.
So I just kind of want to talk about real quick, like what does that frighten you? Because to me, this kind of plays in to that kind of theory.
So the police like dropped it then, or like wasn't like a case file lost mysteriously?
I don't think. I think the one girl that went to the cops, I believe her case is still like ongoing.
Okay.
Just these things take a while, and obviously with those roadblocks, it's gonna be worse. But as far as I know, the case is still open. But so yeah, to me it kind of plays into what I've always said, and I feel like there's been pushback because I'm talking about something like Catholics or Christians. But here's something: I think Scientology is more kind of dismissed or disliked or distrusted by the general public.
Yeah.
So again, let me throw out my theory that if you're worried about ISIS, you're crazy, because ISIS is thousands of miles away. It takes a long time to try to infiltrate into this country, and when they do, they knock off like 8 people every couple years. Not saying that's not horrific when it happens, but to walk around scared of that is weird to me when you have a religious organization in this country. They're in this country, and
Scientology's all American.
And the and the point is, it's like they are ISIS. The thing that differentiates them from ISIS is not belief, is not bureaucracy, but the society in which they propagate and the kind of barriers and open roads in that society. Meaning, ISIS can't go to the DA and block a prosecution because there's no DA. It's just chaos.
How do you reconcile that though with
So they have
to religion? How do you reconcile that with their right to practice whatever religion they want? The Scientologists, not ISIS.
ISIS does have the right to practice whatever religion.
Well, they're not a religion, right? They're a terrorist organization.
I guess, but that's, what do you call this?
Islamic
I mean, what's the line? What's the line? Where is? I mean, if you're going to the police and lying, that's what do you want to call that shit? What's that thing I'm thinking?
Felony?
Obstruction of justice. That's a crime. That's not speech. That's not belief. That's a crime. So that's my point is, I just think, like, here's what I'll say. I know I kind of like say a lot because I'm like asking the question then answering it, but I just kind of want to throw it all out and then just kind of have you respond. Because for me, it strikes me as, I mean, religion. I mean, if you think about religion and speech are in the same constitutional right, the
Mhm.
First Amendment, and obviously I love that amendment. And I love the speech part more than the religious part, but I value all of it.
Right.
I would never get rid of any of it.
Right.
I would keep the baby and the bathwater of that amendment. So the point
The baby
is
Jesus
if
in
you
the
want to
bathroom.
practice whatever religion you want, I think it's the goofiest shit that you could do with your life, but I respect your right to do it, / would defend it. But I think the same way we have barriers on speech, and we do this all the time with hate groups, with secular or near secular. Like, I think a lot of KKK groups are more Christian than people want to give them credit for because they don't want to admit that it's being used that way. But also, I'll say secular or semi-secular hate groups like Nazis and the KKK, like
Westboro.
we hold strong limitations on their speech, meaning like if we find out at all that someone was reading like things that were very directly saying like you should kill some Jews, and then some guy goes and kills some Jews, like we'll try to take down your organization or the leader of it or whoever
That
wrote
was
that.
encouraging that.
Yeah, and that's why and then they get, I mean, unfortunately they get smart about being like, it would be cool if someone killed some Jews. You shouldn't do it. We don't encourage it, but goddamn, that'd be tight. We probably think that guy was the coolest, but I wouldn't have any of us do it. But if it just happened on accident, like that'd be pretty tight. So, but I'm saying like, that's the same thing I feel is like, I mean, let's start here, an easier target, but like, let's move it to Catholicism, whatever, where it's like, taking people's health care away, that's secular. Now you're in politics. Like, you're doing secular thing. You're collecting money, not paying taxes. Taxes is secular. It doesn't matter who you pray to, that's secular. And that's what I mean. Like, I think I can still vehemently defend your right to practice religion and realize that when you're going to a court and discrediting witnesses, again, like you should, like there should be, like if it's like DA should go and try to prove these statements wrong. And if they are wrong, if even one of these people is deemed to be a liar, that person should go to jail. And if they can draw a connection between the church and that lie, the church should be fine. There should be injunctions. Like I mean, I would love to just fucking napalm these fucking centers, but because I'm a good American, I would say
on a watch list.
I would just say like fucking. To me, it's just I've seen religion.
Why would you want to meet violence with violence? I know you're joking, but like, ugh.
Because like, I mean, how gross is this?
I know. It's super gross. Are you asking my opinion now?
Yeah, I just want to know like what is your line? Like to me, that's kind of the analogy I draw is when if religion and speech are in the same amendment, we've clearly defended speech vehemently, but put limits on it when it clearly hurts people or obstructs justice or does whatever. You can say whatever you want. You can't lie to a cop. You're speaking to the cop. Why can't you lie? Because that's different. That's a law. Like, that's not your opinion. And the same thing. There's so many things these churches do, all of them, but let's focus on this one, that has nothing to do with belief.
That's obstruction of official business for sure.
But it's also you're a hate group now. Like you're a group just protecting its members by committing crimes. And you're attacking people that go against your group. You're a hate group. It's hard for us to compartmentalize that. We're like, well, hate groups are white people and they hate black people. But also hate group can just be believers who do they hate? Non-believers. That is also a...
How are you drawing that conclusion though? That how are Scientologists hating non-believers? Weren't these women other Scientologists?
Yeah, but when this one goes out, she's breaking a rule. The same way, like if you're Catholic, you blaspheme and they kick you out, or you're Mormon and you drink coffee and they kick you out, like excommunicate you. So, like, I'm not saying they're not non-believer or what do they say, suppressive person? They have like a whole word for it. If you watch those SPs, I think they call them, suppressive persons.
Oh yeah.
So that's my point. Is like, so whatever. That's my point. Like, that's still a hate group. They are attacking quote unquote suppressive persons the same way. Like a Nazi would attack a Jew, or a KKK person would attack a black person. So
I think it's less outright as that. I think it's spiritual abuse, and I don't know how any. Honestly, this is my personal opinion. Like, I don't see how you can consider any religion not spiritual abuse. They're all abusing you spiritually because there's like you said, fear rooted in that. Like you'll be excommunicated. Some religions, your family's not allowed to talk to you if you leave the religion. I don't know. Just so destructive. Like you're telling children that a man in the sky and his son are watching you all the time, even when you're naked.
And I'm his friend, and he says you should blow me.
It's totally okay now. Yeah, like I mean,
They
like,
all
I was
do
just
that.
thinking about that today. Like, what kind of dynamic does that set up in a kid? Where like, I just think it creates this, especially like male female sort of role where it's like, yeah. So then, is it weird when my uncle is staring at me? Not me, but you know what I mean. Like, what are you saying about grown men watching you, right? I mean, I guess Santa Claus too, but we can't get rid of Santa. But
But there's a church of Santa.
right. Yeah, no, it's
You know,
totally a joke.
No, I know, but that's the difference. I mean, that's what I'm saying is that.
Yeah, you're not going to get excommunicated from humanity when you don't believe in Santa.
Here's the thing. I think belief. I think if we're talking again, to me, what's my line in the sand, right? Again, with speech, right? What do we all know about speech? Fire in a crowded theater. Like it's not a clear rule. It's obviously like a, what do you want to call it? Like a fucking like, it's phraseology. It's anecdotal, but we get it. We get what that means, right? Fire in a crowded theater. So we know there's a line. We have a large space to navigate in free speech, but we know there's a line, and if we cross it,
like you're not allowed to yell fire in a theater if there's no fire.
That was in that
prosecuted.
Right,
Okay.
and that was in like a Supreme Court ruling. That phrasing. So I hope I'm right about that. I'm like 90% sure, but
yeah,
like,
but there are limits, right?
So my point is, so if you would say, just well, what's your limit on religion? It's belief, no limit. Religion, limit, because religion implies organization, and once you're organized, you're a group. Meaning, like, I mean, ICP is on an FBI watch list as a gang.
Insane Clown Posse.
But they don't. Yeah. I mean, unless you consider the fucking Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope as like, analogous to the Pope, they don't really have leadership. They don't have like a thing that they are all set to do, like some sort of political mission. But yet the government realizes, like, well, these are all people that get together, share common beliefs, and could be, and if people at the head of that group wanted to turn those beliefs ugly, that could be bad. Maybe we should watch them. Now, I think there is some grossness to that, for sure. I still, to be honest, like, I get it. Like, it's saying that, like, people organized should be watched. I think it's gross when you see the government kind of using it to protect themselves. Like, are they conspiring against us? We're the cool government. But in fairness to, I think there are good people in criminal justice that go, like, we want to protect this country, and so my point is, if ICP is on a watch list, why isn't Christianity, the religion, not the beliefs, the organized religion, the Catholic Church that has hierarchy like a gang or like a business, like, even if you don't want the negative,
well-documented history of hiding crimes.
That's
hiding them,
or
and
the
then
mob. I mean, the mob.
It.
I mean, it's like to me, the Catholic Church is the mob, organizationally.
So, like, you just think like they should be on a watch group, like that?
I think they should be watched. Like, to me, my point is like, it's so easy, and this is what Scientology knew. That's why it exists in the first place, because L. Ron Hubbard knew as soon as you're a religion, there's no taxes to look at, no crime. Like, it's a blanket, and I think that things like this, I think one thing we could get from, like, the thing is, if you say these things about the Catholic Church, and they are all true, there's too many Catholics. They'll defend it. But Scientology, I think, at this point, hopefully it doesn't grow, is ripe for targeting, just like something like ISIS is internationally. And I think when we have this thing that not a lot of people like and a lot of people think is seedy, this is a good starting point to be like, all right, you can believe whatever you want, go exercise your thetans, speak to your fucking volcano gods, whatever the fuck you do, that's fine. Protect that and fight for that protection. But now when you have leaders and you have buildings and you collect money, you are going to be scrutinized like a goddamn Best Buy. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know I've said gangs and the mob and shit like that, but why not just a business?
Yeah.
I mean, how many?
Because it is a business.
How many you know, I mean, to
I
me,
mean, every Sunday they're advertising their faith.
I mean,
Okay.
but my point is, if we're so quick, I mean, that's what it is. It's a business. So again, let's take the negative way of like gang and stuff and the mob, but let's just say like for all you liberals out there that are
Yeah,
like
so not even on a watch list,
that,
but like, yeah.
yeah. So all you people out there that are like, you know, fucking all these white collar criminals, right? They fucking defraud the citizens. They never go to jail. Well, to me, this is like to me, religion crime is another wing of collar crime. You know, like they're not, you know, that's what it is. Because I mean, the rape in the Catholic Church is for sure a crime.
Yeah.
But the more disturbing crime is the obstruction of justice crimes
Right.
in that organization.
Yes.
And to me, if you're going to dismantle companies for malfeasance,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think that. To me, I don't know. If God is everywhere and he's in the sky and you go to heaven and it's all these ethereal things, I mean, I think that's silly, but if you believe it and you believe you're right, that should be most important. So to me, if we say like, all right, we got to get in and bust up the Catholic Church, it's hiding too many sex offenders. To me, that doesn't hurt your beliefs, does it? That's not infringing. That's infringing on this. That's when we're talking about First Amendment protections. If we say, all right, the church, you fucked up too much, you're an illegal organization, all right, Catholic Church, no mas, that does not affect your beliefs. Because
Yes, it does. I mean, if you're saying
just
you
you
can't
can
have your church anymore,
why
that's what they value.
the church is, but we
I'm
ne-
just saying that will never fly.
but my
It's
point is
wishful
we're
thinking.
not saying if you believe in Jesus you're a criminal. We're saying if you work, if you're an employee of the church, you're part of a criminal organization. But the organization is secular. That's what I think get annoyed with. The organization is the fire in the crowded theater. It is a secular thing. It exists on this planet. Jesus exists in another realm. Believe in him, and that's protected. But the church, that's just a building. That's a McDonald's, that's a Taco Bell, that's a T-Mobile
that's
store.
not how they view it at all.
It's not, and that's what this
Do you know
topic's
what I
about.
think is a
That's
more-
disturbing.
I think is a more tangible thing that could come about. It's still wishful thinking, knowing how this works. But I think it's crazy, thinking about this, how they were able to go in and say, that the church rallied behind them and all of that. I think it's crazy that we still have confessional privilege across across the globe. Like that
Yeah.
is that, it forbids any inquiry into like even that it even happened, that a communication even happened between a priest and a clergy member is like protected. You don't even have to say as a priest that say you're another priest who raped a child and told me about it in the confessional. I don't even have to say that we talked. Like that's protected. And they believe that anything you say to me in the confessional is between you and God. Okay, so I can't tell. I don't have to tell. I shouldn't tell. I'll go to jail before I tell what your sin was. That's nuts to me, especially as like our spirituality changes and how we see it. And you don't need that middleman. That middleman was put there as a way to make money, as a way to establish power that has now become abusive. Like, it just blows my mind that you think you need to go into a box and tell the priest that you've sinned. But that is their belief.
Right.
Okay, fine. Fine. Okay, but that should not be protected if there has been a crime. I think that's nuts.
Well, and that's the difference. That's the difference between like again, like you just got to realize if you believe something, you believe it. Just like if I say something, I say it. It's kind of this like ethereal thing. You know, me saying something, those words just go out into the atmosphere. It's saying. But once I say, "Hey, go kill that guy," and you kill that guy, well, you've brought kind of your speech into the physical world. And that's the same thing. It's like when you say like, "There's a guy up there and he loves me and I'm going to go visit him after I die." Believe whatever you want, totally. But once you say, "And I'm going to build a church and we're going to collect money and if the church does something wrong, we'll cover that up. We'll move him to another church." Now you're doing all that in the secular world. None of that is belief. That's just moving and shaking.
You raped a child in the secular world. Like, you don't just get... I just think it's such a cop-out to be like, well, I just confessed to God and he forgave me, and so that's it. That's it. I'm absolved. Jesus loves me again. We're fine. I don't know how... It just... The dissonance involved in Catholicism, because that's the religion I know best, because I was in it for 18 years, like, is astounding to me, but that's one of the wildest, is that someone can come to you, you're a priest, you've promised to protect God's children, and they tell you they're raping someone, and you would just keep it because that's supposed to be your secret between you and God and this person. Fuck off. Like, I would want no part of that. I mean, obviously, I would want no part of that.
Right.
But I don't know how. I get the protection, doctor patient privilege, even because mental health is doctor. You know, that's physical. I think that that is something that also should be protected under doctor patient privilege, right? But like your spirituality and like your clergy member, God, it's just like that's going the way of the dodo. Hopefully,
Well,
get out
I
of here.
think it's going. I mean, my hope for the future isn't a fully atheistic society because
No, like
I think that.
practice. Like you always say, practice whatever you want. Like we.
But well, my point is, I just think that there's still belief. Like I talked. Here's what I'll say. I think there's curiosity, and I don't think that'll ever go away from the human race. And I don't think it should. I think that's what
Yeah.
humanizes us. It's what separates us from the fucking apes. Um, but this kind of just very just strict structuring and these power dynamics and the way that we treat people in them. I mean, they're archaic. I mean, we're literally living in a
Yeah.
when you have a religion in the United States, you literally live in a democracy with little dictatorships strewn throughout it. I mean, and that's what I mean. The Catholic Church is an organization in 2017 in the great free country of America that's organized like North Korea, from a structural level. It's Bronze Age, fucking power architecture. And so it's not that I think that people should just become atheists. I mean, you should if you don't think there's anything, but it's more that just decentralized belief. It's belief over religion. It's like, I believe in Jesus, but I don't go to church. Or I choose not to believe in Jesus, but I believe in something. But again, it's like, that's my whole point. It's like, I don't believe, I mean, I feel like I've said this enough on the podcast, but just to reiterate, I don't believe in God. But I don't believe in nothing, and I respect curiosity. And also, my belief in God is like, that's just where I'm putting my money on, because it makes the most sense to me, and I've thought about this a lot and read a lot and watched a lot, but I could fucking be wrong. But also, I'm still always curious, and I think it's a beautiful thing. So I'm not like this militant atheist. I think that's its own group, and groups are bad. But it's this thing of like,
When there are
but
churches,
religions, the structures, that's not even bad. It's awful. It's gross, and it makes me very mad.
and there are churches devoted to, like you're saying, yeah, where, uh, they talk a Jewish passage, where it's like just kind of study it all, pick your path that makes right sense, makes the most sense for you spiritually.
Makes right sense.
It makes right sense to me. Judaism. Judaism.
All right, take us into topic 2, boo.
Okay, so let's talk about Facebook and these Russians.
Okay.
So as the Russian probe is intensifying and Congress is, speaking to people from Twitter, Facebook, all the social media platforms, there's really been a lot of talk about how Russians were able to infiltrate our just like psyche with not even with advertisements, but just creating fake accounts, sharing a meme, and that meme getting shared, or the technical term is engagement, millions of times, millions of people in America seeing it, and that sort of psychological warfare that happened totally legally and with the capitalistic system that Facebook has created that's very popular and working, and just sort of how the news feed works, where it's designed to show you what you want to see. So how do you understand what other people are seeing and responding to, right? It sort of created this division from each other and from ourselves. So
that was the most interesting thing, I think, from the article that you should like share it when this podcast goes up. It's like an Atlantic article about it.
Oh my God, it's so good.
The kind of idea that was the one thing. A lot of this kind of just annoyed me, but the one thing I did, and I didn't think it was anything. It didn't matter, but it was an interesting thing to mull on, which is the fact that if you post an ad or whatever, like
a meme,
if you're a page, so you're
story.
buying, you post something from a page, and you target it, only people that you target and you are seeing it. So if I'm not targeted, I don't even know it's out there.
Right.
So it's not like like if you post like a fucking what do I want to say, like a lawn sign. I mean, everyone drives past that, sees it. And some people will go, oh, that's dumb. Some people will go, fuck yeah. and everything in between. But you're literally targeting, so you're just sending it to fuck yeah people, and people are like, what the fuck? They're not even seeing it to have the what the fuck. That's kind of just interesting.
Yeah, so it's like it just was insidious how
I mean, it's really public direct messaging.
misinformation
You know what I mean?
from both sides. It makes me feel like seeing the messages that Russians sent out. Yeah, most of them were like targeted to conservative voters, but like there were ones for liberals too.
Oh,
like they're just wanting to fuck with democracy,
but here's the
right?
fucking point, dude. Is like, it's just this. I just
Hold on. The name of the article is called "What Facebook Did to American Democracy and Why It Was So Hard to See Coming." It's on The Atlantic, and hot tip, The Atlantic has a SoundCloud account. It's amazing. They record their feature articles that are really long and hard to read. They'll read it to you. It's awesome.
So smart. I wanted to like read the whole article.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, it's like, kind of like there's short articles. I actually do read almost everything that we talk about because it's like short, and if it's not short, like like you'll kind of fill me in like what parts you want to talk about, and I'll glaze to those. But
this is long form journalism.
but yeah, I was like, what? I don't know if I'll have time though, because I'm fucking not good at reading. But yeah, I listened to it at the gym. So I could just pound it out while doing something.
That's like I just think speaking of democracy, it democratizes information. Some people are busy; they can't read the whole fucking Atlantic. But there's a free SoundCloud account where you can just listen to it. It makes me so angry when people are like, "Oh, you're not reading if you're listening to an audiobook." It's like, fuck your privilege. You get to actually sit down and read a book.
Just
I know.
Like,
I just like saying "fuck your privilege" because I know it makes you so angry.
It's just,
but do you know what I'm saying? Like, it feels classist to be like, "Well, you're not reading unless you're reading."
Just like,
how's it not classist?
It's not classic. It's just dumb. It's just this thing of like, why information exists in the third person, and then you suck it into your brain through some sort of tube. And then if it's the word tube, it's like you're a genius. If it's like the picture tube, you're like dumb. It's like, well, I'm just sucking in.
It's the same information. Yeah.
And I'm not doing it because like reading, that's my point.
There's a snobbery around reading for sure.
But it doesn't make sense. Cause I'm like, well, I just don't read because like, to me, it's like more intelligent. Not more.
It's out of fear.
I'm not saying watching TV is more intelligent because then I'd just be snobbing the other way. I'm saying, isn't there an intelligence to going, like the reason I watch more documentaries or listen to more podcasts than read, books is because I'm like, I read so slow, I can learn more about this topic if I take this in the other way. And isn't the intelligent thing to get as much information as you can?
Yeah, whatever works for you.
Like if you're saying like, well, you should be as studied as you can on this. Well, if it's only by reading, I will know nothing about nothing because I'll fall asleep in 5 minutes every time I try to learn something.
Does this mean you were listening to an Atlantic article that I sent you while you were working out at the gym?
Yes.
You're my dream man.
All right. So anyways, the thing that just makes me so mad about this is I've been, it's great when like you think away and then you read something that doesn't confirm that. It's not trying to confirm that, but you go, hey, you know what? Good information. You aggregated all this stuff that's happened over the last few months into a very well written article. I enjoyed reading it. I thought it was informative. But to be honest, there was enough of the things you said in that article, not you, Jackie Manti, the writer, didn't really sway my opinion. And I'm going to use this word a lot throughout this discussion. I've thought about it, and there's no way around it. I've thought about all the things I want to say, and I can't avoid this word. I'm going to have to use it a lot. And I apologize, / don't really apologize. I apologize if this offends you.
What's it going to be?
But I have no other way to say it. Facebook didn't ruin our democracy. A country that is just swelled full, swaths and swaths across the nation, full of fucking retards, is what screws democracy. Because if everyone gets to vote, then you know who's voting? Tons and tons of fucking retards. And that's what is there any other, and I use that word
oh my God,
because
just use a different word because I'm not going to even pay any attention.
Yeah, because
retard.
I would never use that word.
Then don't.
Against a mentally challenged person. But I can't say intellectually incurious to a retard because it won't hurt their feelings. I want to hurt your feelings because you're ruining everything because of your just intellectual laziness. And I want you to be hurt because you're awful. And I hate you. I have such contempt for you.
So Okay, I hate that word and I hate that you're using it and I will never use it. But your point, I get what you're saying. Today, so when I was researching your topic, right, and I remembered this article that a friend of mine posted she's an atheist, and a few days ago she posted this article about how Iceland as a country had banned any American televangelists from entering their country. And they had this like Icelandic Psychology Protection Act where they were like, the article's like, not fuck, but like Americans are going down this wrong path and they blame it on conservative Christianity. Like, we want to protect our country from this, like,
Right. And she was
destructive
an
behavior.
atheist?
Yes.
So she was going like, good job, Iceland.
Yeah, and like people were like, "Yeah, thumbs up." So I clicked on it because I'm like, "Oh, that's really interesting," and like would be good for our first topic. Just sort of talk about how other countries are dealing with protecting themselves from what we see as dangerous mind fucking, basically that starts in grade school.
But is
Wait,
it?
hold on.
I'll get into it.
I read 2 paragraphs and was like, "This is fake," and satire on the web, there are clues, and you get that. You just, the more you know, the more critically you think about these articles. You're a savvy reader. I'm like, there's no way this is real. Like, they're using language that's fake. So I snopes it, and like, it's not true. It's false.
Does it? So
Satire.
is it mind fucking then? Is it mind
No,
fucking?
I was
or
saying,
can the
just
dick?
stop. I was saying religion was mind fucking children. Like, no, I'm not saying that this is mind fucking. I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you said that.
No, my whole point is that if you listen, my whole point is that.
Sorry.
It took me 2 paragraphs in. Beyond just reading a headline, 2 paragraphs in, I'm like, this isn't, let me double check my facts. And I'm like, oh, this is totally not real. That's all it took, 5 minutes, and I knew it was wrong.
And so that's my
And it was something I wanted to believe, you know?
Exactly. And that's my point, is retardation goes across the spectrum of political beliefs. And my point is, why must use that word? And I can discontinue it just so we can talk, but I fucking feel it. Just know every time I say stupid, I mean retard, and I say it with all the love and hate and blood in my heart. We'll use that going forward, but I'll use it one more time. If that's the bar, if the bar to not be tricked by the bad Russians is 5 minutes of your day and going to one site that everyone should know is just, pretty much the bellwether of checking into stuff, Snopes. 5 minutes, I think you're rounding up to 5 minutes. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably around 3.5 minutes. If that's the bar to not be a retard, what other word is there to use about these people? If we're not asking you to go to Harvard, we're not even asking you to go to college. I've talked about before on this podcast how college is a fucking grift. You don't have to go to college. You don't have to be a goddamn accountant. That's the bar for non-retard. Do you have 3 and that was the last one. Well, maybe it's in this rant. Outside of this rant. But my point is, that's the bar. That's the bar. And we have millions and millions of people in this country that go, too high a bar. There's the new Game of Thrones on, and I like dragons.
Where's the personal responsibility that that we just talk so much about, and how we want all these people using welfare to have? It's like, take the responsibility to cull through your news and like just find another article. If no one else is like, I even like Googled it and couldn't find it in news, and I'm like, that's not a good sign. Like, if multiple places aren't reporting on it, it's probably not
5 minutes.
Like,
rounding up 5 minutes.
One Google search, you don't have to click through, and you can kind of figure out that it's fake.
5 minutes. So my point is, did Russian that's to me the point, like, and this was near the end of the article. This was in like the last quarter of it, and it just really made me go like, it fucking exactly was that they had 3,000 they had like 3,000 posts that they identified as by Russian actors or whatever. 3,000 fake news
Twitter
posts.
just like cut the accounts of 2 popular conservative Twitterers.
Yeah, I saw that. Doesn't matter.
Were Russians.
Doesn't matter. 3,000 posts. Do you know how most of that information was disseminated?
Shared engagement.
Organic reach.
Yeah.
Meaning it was shared by people that went, exactly, lock her up / I don't know, probably Trump stuff too. Not from the Russian accounts, but I'm sure. And it just went.
There were a few.
Exactly.
Things.
Exactly. It doesn't take the whole country of Russia. It takes a couple guys in Russia and an army of R words that just need to they wish their dick was 10 inches longer so they could just suck it all day. That's their goddamn dream. The only thing that hurts their feelings is their dick isn't long enough to suck it
It's one
themselves. It's so.
It's one thing to have an opinion. It's another to share false information, misinformation, to jump on bandwagons without getting the information first. It's part of this cult of personal branding. You want to appear that you have the hot lead on something interesting, or like, this is my opinion and this is who I am. So here, I'm going to retweet, I'm going to share. Stop it.
So that's my point. Is it weird that Russia posted stuff in our country that maybe affected our election? Yeah, that's creepy. That's fucking
we're not saying
creepy.
Russia clearly needs to be on a watch list.
But who is ruining democracy in America? We the people. We the people are. And just the inescapable mound of our words that we can never climb over because they just keep stacking more and more and more on top of the pile, and it's just a never-ending hill.
Again, that's not a way to make people change your, I think just
like, how would you change these people's minds? It's clear they have no interest in that. So I'd rather just debase them while this country fails on its own straw legs, collapses. I'd rather just take shots at them on the way out. Then it at least feels good to just scream at them and just go. How do you just not care about any? How do you not have 3.5 minutes? Is it maybe because you got 4 R words screaming in the other room because you're just plumping fucking R word sperm into an R word factory that just shoots them out?
Oh my God.
Is it that?
No,
are you offended because you're a woman and you claim rape as the R word? I feel like that's
everything you've said in the past 5 minutes has offended me. Like, that is not.
What do you think is rape the R word or retard?
Do not act like women who have a lot of children are idiots. Then you just.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. You just said because you pumped out. What does the number of babies you've had affect your intelligence, Justin? That's so
I didn't say that.
Offensive. If we've learned anything from this, it's that people on all sides.
Exactly.
There's bad guys on all sides, on both sides.
Well, that's why. I'm sure that atheist woman was like, "Well, I don't have time to snope this because I have to make organic baby food for my 4 fucking R words."
No, she doesn't have children, and also I don't know if she knew it was satire. She just posted it and shared, and people just read the headline.
That's enough, though. Come on. Why? Why do you have to do it? Come on. I'm not wrong.
I'm asking. My other question in this debate though was like, has this sort of shaped how you use Facebook, or like you've never used it?
No, because I'm not a fucking retard.
You're a fucking asshole.
I am, but I'd rather be that. As Kanye said, rather be a dick than a swallower, right?
Well, all of that aside,
I'm just so angry. I know I'm an asshole. I know it. And I can't hide it because I'm too angry. Now you talk for 15 minutes. I'm sorry.
I feel your rage, and I
this.
completely agree with you. I mean, I'm someone who believes in the power of journalism. I believe in what good news reporting and information, how valuable that is to our culture, our society, our individuality, like our progress. News matters. It's important that we have good sources. So I think this has been so fucked up because it's created this sort of environment where Donald Trump can, threaten the free press that we have in this country. He can threaten it. He can threaten them, individual reporters, create a culture of fear around the press that people are standing up for on these platforms. I don't think these platforms are bad, but like that sort of like belief in it, people believing that, is that there was fake news. There was the disinformation campaign that happened long before the Russians even got involved. It's the nature of having access to, you can create your own website and write whatever stories you want, right? Like that's bound to happen. That makes me angry, and that makes me think that I'm glad that they're looking into it, and there should be a way we can either look at Facebook differently. Is the press has standards that they have to adhere to. Does Facebook have to have a similar? I think it's cool that Twitter shut down those accounts that they found out were Russian operatives acting as, conservative pundits, basically. Like, I think there can be rules.
Listen,
it's sort of like we were saying with like the limit on free speech.
It doesn't matter. How do people act like this is a political conversation?
I'm not saying it's a political conversation.
But it's not. But I'm not saying. I didn't say you. I didn't say you. But it's not even legal. My point is, did you notice also in the story? Do you know who another a big proprietor of fake news was? A bunch of teenagers in Macedonia who were using click-throughs to generate ad revenue. They were just making thousands and thousands of dollars, just milking the little R word teat. Right? They got every R word has 10 little teats, and they're just begging Macedonia teens to just milk them. I guarantee you. You know what? You know what? You know who the average Trump voter is? Not someone that's racist. It's not someone that's blue collar. You know who it is? It's someone that's bought at least 3 different types of diet pills at some time. Because that's all. They're susceptible to lies because they don't care about themselves even, let alone the country around them. They just want to believe. They just want 10 more inches of cock so they could jam it down their own fucking throat and just sit on the couch all day. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. And that's my point is just to I want an Atlantic article saying what I say. Now they can do it in a more eloquent way. That's what the Atlantic is for. But I don't want smart media blaming Facebook because then you know what?
They didn't blame
because
Facebook.
then smart media is not but there's no accountability.
How did you take that? Like,
because they should be a whole section
it's a story about how technology is shaping our views and how we talk to each other.
It's not though. It's not.
It is.
Because you could say that about TV ads 30 years ago. Because those were a bunch of lies put out by how many PAC and Super PAC ads are just lies put out by people with motives to get someone elected against someone else's best interest because it helps the people donating the money. I mean, and now it's just computers, and then it'll be VR, and then it'll be, the pills we take that just pumps entertainment into our brain. It's always going to exist. But you know why don't? Because these fucking R words always exist. And no one wants to talk about that. The Atlantic doesn't want to talk about that. That should be what the article is about. About that, fucking Facebook isn't ruining democracy. A lack of ability. If anything, Facebook exists on the internet, exists in technology. Like you said, technology is saving or could save democracy. Because now you can find out if something's fake in 3.5 minutes. Something that might take you all day. Now you can find out in 3.5 minutes. But why don't people use technology for that? Not because Facebook's evil, not because of some algorithm, but because of the dumbest of dumb people. The diet pill buyers of the world are picking your president, and then the rest of us have to fucking deal with it. And it's so goddamn infuriating because someone like no one talks about it. You'll never see this article. And I'm an asshole, and I'm using the wrong language, but the points are right. And someone should write that article.
What's your main point? There's lots of yelling.
That dumb people hurt. That again, who's ruining democracy? Dumb people.
And you constitute dumb as
intellectually uncurious. That's the best way I can put it. I'll drop the bad word. Intellectually uncurious. I'm bad at math. I can barely read. And I know lots of people that are smart and different. I do know people that are great at math. And some of those people are fucking intellectually uncurious. You know what I'm saying when I say that. It's the thing I've been saying the whole time that I don't want to say anymore because I want you to still love me.
I don't know.
But my point is like, again, just like conservatives and liberals can be this, so can people that are good at math and bad at math. But to me, what distinguishes a quote-unquote smart person is intellectual curiosity. Is that fake? Are the beliefs I have the right beliefs? Are any of the beliefs I don't believe, do they have any validity? Let's listen to some things. Let's learn some fucking things. And that's why we talked about before. Do I want to learn it through the radio, through a movie, through a book, through an article? Doesn't matter how, as long as I'm always kind of intellectually curious, wanting to find out more. And no one in this country is that. And that's why we are where we are.
I think it's a little, I'll just land on, I think it's a little bit of both. And I think that the role Facebook has played has been a little more abstract than just like click-throughs and data and numbers. Like, I think it's what you're saying. They're distracted, and it's easier to just read a headline or a tweet without reading the whole story. And I don't think that's the R word. I think that's human nature. If it's easier to just read the thing and it agrees with what you think, yeah, okay. I think that's where we need to get smarter and where, like, we need to take a step back and, like, get the fuck off Facebook. Or, I was just reading an article about how
they'll find you.
The team. Oh, I know, but like, okay, we'll wait for that to happen. When this always happens when new technology comes. Like, we pay the price for something, like take a step back and move forward. That needs to happen with Facebook right now. And like, I don't know, just personally, like I don't use it that much anymore because I'm like I don't like the way this makes me even beyond like as someone who doesn't think she's an R word. Like I'll get caught up in stuff or like laugh at something and it's like oh, this isn't even why am I'm wasting my time when I could be like you said. I think it's because
But that's my
it's
point.
because we are so safe. We are so no, it's not going to really affect our lives directly in the next day whoever our president is, so we're afforded the like the we don't have to follow up on information.
Okay, but my point is, you're saying it. This is why there'll never be a good article about this because you are saying it, but you refuse to say it because you're saying it. You're like, I've been tricked
I said
before,
it's both.
and then I've been tricked before, and I had to look
I'm
back
not
on it.
refusing to say it. I
But
just
my
said
point
it's
is,
both things, and we can look at both
but my
things
point
and
is,
not say
just
one
you
isn't
going back
happening.
and looking at it. That's my whole point. Is when you say like, I've been tricked before, and I'll have to go back and look at something. It's like it's the going back and look at something. It's what I'll go back to is that the bar is low. The bar is not you immediately know fake news from not fake news. The bar is not that you just know everything about everything. The bar is that you go like, hold on, am I getting caught up in this? Hold on, is this real? Hold on, am I spending too much time on Facebook? And so many people just, that the lowest of bars, they just refuse to tiptoe over it. That's the point, is
How do you change that?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, eugenics is too evil.
Oh my God, Justin. I'm not
I'm
gonna
kidding.
laugh at that.
I said it's too evil.
Oh God, let's move on.
Did you ever hear Doug Stanhope's joke? I bring him up so much on this podcast. It's probably clear.
No, you don't.
Too
I don't
much. Too much. Just too much. I should bring up any one thing more than once. I don't know. And his,
I don't remember you ever bringing him up.
I think it was two
Fake
specials
news.
ago. I think it was he talked about that he thinks eugenics is bad, but he's what he called fuck what shit. I just had literally the word in my mouth. Scotch is getting to me. What do you call it? Incentive-based eugenics, or like they tell like just like something like like if you cut your balls off, we'll give you a free lap in a NASCAR car. It's like yeah, chop them off. Anyways, I don't know, but this is what here's what I'll leave on. This is what fucking frightens.
I feel like you've said it all.
This is what frightens me, is that the Democrats are gonna hoot and holler and Mueller and Papadopoulos and every fucking hashtag and every fucking coming over every fucking indictment. And we got 2018 elections coming up. We got presidential election. I mean, it's only 3 years from now. I mean, every time we bitch, time's just rolling by. This guy's going to be up for re-election sooner than we can even imagine. I mean, especially in our cycle, it's going to start literally a year and a half from now. We're going to start the campaign. So we have 2018 primaries. We have 2020 election. And, okay, Russia did it first and did it worst. Let's just say that if we want to. But if you don't think that the same Democrats that hooped and hollered about Russia interfering won't go, now that is shitty because it is Russia, but we're definitely using those tactics, right? Hell yeah, we're using those tactics. Like, this is the new norm. The new norm is targeting and fake news
They were already
from
targeting.
both sides.
They've already been doing that.
But the point is like, this is new, which means the Hillary camp was not doing it. But whoever the presidential candidate on the left is going to run in 2020, they're going to do it. Now it's like steroids in baseball. If you're not doing this, you're not even competing. It's been established. And it's like you said, my point is, if a Democratic candidate does this, it's not illegal. The only impropriety is that a foreign agent did it. That's what's scary, right? That's the only impropriety. If the NRA does it to get a gun guy in, it's legal. If the candidate themselves does it's legal.
Isn't that American scary? Doing it, that's fair. Because if it were,
so that's my point.
I'd be like capitalism.
That's my point. My point is, if you impeach Trump, you send to jail everyone that worked on his campaign, and then you nuclear bomb Russia into the ground. You do all that. What happens in 2020? These same tactics. We have another president, another congressman, another governor, all elected by swaths and swaths, piles and piles of drooling, intellectually uncurious people.
Looking at it, I don't know what you're.
I'm angry that we're not looking at it. We're not looking at the intellectually uncurious problem. We're looking at the fucking Facebook problem.
No, I feel like you didn't.
That's my last point. You can talk
I
for
know.
20 minutes if you want to. That's all I got to
I'm
say
just
about
gonna
it.
say I think you misread the article, and like
I didn't. It was a good
I
article.
don't think that it's blaming Facebook, and I think the way to what you're saying, where we're just reading this news, all this, the the intellectually uncurious, right? I think that this is a new form of media, and so understanding how it worked to the benefit and disadvantage of our Democratic candidates for president is going to create a further conversation about just how we communicate in this country. And I think that's fucking interesting and important instead of just like calling people stupid and moving on.
The Atlantic is good. This article was interesting and well written. It did not bring up the fault of the American public in this enough / at all that I could tell. That's all I'll say. All right, topic 3. The fun topic.
Is it the American public's fault or the education system? I mean, like, how are we?
This is an education. What did you learn in high school that prepared you to go, hey, I know Snopes. Everyone knows Snopes. If you don't know Snopes, I mean, you're living in a box. You choose not to Snopes because you like the way your own dick feels in the back of your fucking throat. All right. So KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. We've been eating a lot of fried chicken recently, and I've been loving it. We've gone the Popeyes route, but KFC is still pretty good. We're just closer to Popeyes is. Popeyes is? What's the plural of Popeyes is?
KFC, I just have such sad. I don't know. They're really mean to their chickens.
Real
I'm sure
quick,
they all are.
I have 2 questions. What's
I don't know.
as an English major, what's the plural of Popeyes?
Popeyes is.
It's not Popeyes, is it? Probably just move the apostrophe over to the other side of the
that's
S.
possessive if you're asking.
But
for
it is
plural.
possessive. The name of the restaurant is Popeyes with
Yeah,
the possessive.
Yeah.
So the more than one Popeyes would be. There's 3
with
Popeyes.
the apostrophe and then an ES.
I think you would just move the apostrophe over to the other side of the S.
No, because then.
Because then you keep the.
No, because then you're messing up the name of it.
No, because the name stays possessive, but it just implies plural.
No, because then the name is Popeyes, not Popeye. It's Popeye's place, basically, now with the apostrophe.
But I'm saying it is.
If you move the apostrophe to the end,
yeah,
the name is Popeyes.
But my point is, the name is that.
Popeyes' place.
But the name is that. It's
what?
Popeyes Chicken.
With an apostrophe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Know
so multiples of those would still just be Popeyes. We went to 1 Popeyes, we went to 2 Popeyes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
But you would definitely not put the apostrophe.
Tweet us about
you would definitely not take the apostrophe out and put it on the end of the name because that changes the name
that
entirely.
Seems right, but anyway.
No, you're wrong. You're an R word.
Seriously though, what do you think the
that
R
rant was just so like not even fun.
Is the it wasn't fun for me either. It came from just like it just came from this dark but like place I love. Like I love where those things in me come from.
Mm.
It's dark. It wasn't trying to be funny. It's not all ha-has. Sometimes it's just pure bile. What do you think the R word is? Is it rape or retard? I've heard people.
Retard. Why do you think it's about rape?
People
Who uses it as
people.
Fuck that. Fucking call it rape. In fact, I think that when the fucking I was reading these articles about the Catholic Church cover-ups, I just get in this rabbit hole.
They talked about them R-wording kids.
No, they call it abuse.
Yeah.
Child abuse. It's fucking child rape. Call it child rape.
I think you should call it fucking kids. Because, like, I mean, like, I agree. Because I agree with you. You should be like, Jesus Christ. I wouldn't even, like, this priest is accused of butt fucking children.
Yeah, like.
I'd be like, oh, God.
Maybe I should reconsider giving them money.
Yeah.
To put him somewhere else where he can rape other children.
Ugh.
As long as they're black.
Catholics are mostly racist.
You don't even know that.
Wasn't that what you were implying?
There are a lot of Catholics that are of color. It's not like
you got a dark place too. That's why we're married. No, I agree.
KFC.
I agree. Retard is the R word. I agree.
No, I think rape has a strong connotation, and it should be used as such to help prevent it. Retards just mean.
I would never call a mentally challenged person retarded,
Okay.
though. But you gotta.
It's like, I mean, the argument is that it's like calling something gay, like that's so gay, man,
Different.
when it's bad, because then you're implying that it's something negative, and being gay is beautiful.
But being dumb that's what my thing, because that's why I don't use gay. I don't use gay or the F word. Because see, F
Thank
word is
you.
fag and F bomb is fuck. That's the difference. So you could call rape the R bomb, maybe.
No,
But
calling it rape.
but that's why. No, I agree.
Why do people call it the R word?
I
Not
agree
to
with you
trigger
because
someone?
I don't know. But here's the point: is I agree with you. If someone's gay, there's nothing wrong with that. And if someone who's not gay espouses stereotypically gay personality traits, like maybe they're a little feminine or flamboyant, I also don't think that's negative. So I think that calling someone gay, like, oh, we can't lift that box, fucking gay, like that's mean because it's not inherently bad. I think that it's okay to recognize that being dumb is bad all the time. And mentally challenged people aren't dumb. They have a birth defect, or, I don't know, maybe they got in a car accident or something. It's probably mostly genetic, but, sometimes people get in accidents and it mentally impairs them. So there's nothing wrong with you. You have a health issue, the same way, like, you have asthma or something. Like, and it's not like I feel pity for you, because I think it's also a form of hate, just from a weaker side. But I'm just like, yeah, you can't control that, so I would never make fun of you for that. But if you have all the mental capabilities of anyone else born, and you choose to fucking go like, I don't know, I think lock her up because this thing I read on the Facebook, you're a retard, and that is negative. That's where I think that is sound logic, and you don't have to agree with me. I'm sure there's plenty of people that hate me right now, but that's why, and I don't use that word a lot. I
agree with you, but I like that. I like that you explained it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really why I feel so brave.
I still won't use it, but I feel
just so you know, I'm not saying that it's not shitty for me to. I'm not saying you can't think it's shitty. You can't be mad at me, and I'm not saying that it's not a harsh word. I'm saying I'm using it because it's harsh. But just so you know, and I mean, you probably know this. I really don't use any slurs. I don't want to hurt people's feelings for who they are or whatever. But if you're dumb, that's a choice. And to me, it's the most damaging choice you can make in a democracy, because we all literally count on each other.
It's ignorance, right?
It's ignorance.
It's ignorance, and you're hurting me with your ignorance.
But a fucking retard doesn't know what the word ignorant means. That's the other reason I like using it, because a retard will get his feelings hurt by the word retard, and I want to wake him up. It's enough carrots with these people. We need a little stick. Okay. So that's my fucking reasoning, and I think it's fucking apt. But yeah, you can think I'm a fucking asshole. You probably wouldn't be wrong.
Done and done.
But would you call me a non-nice person? Or would you call me a fucking asshole?
I would call you intellectually curious asshole.
All right, we gotta fucking plow this through.
Okay.
We're making such great time too, but I don't care. I love this episode. I'm sorry. I honestly feel bad because I knew I was going to talk too much, and I think we've been sharing the mic time really good. But it's not that I disrespect you as a partner on this podcast. I'm just so angry, and it's just hard.
No,
and I promise when you talked, I was listening. But I'm so mad.
Let's go to topic 3.
But good topics. And
KFC.
read that article, KFC.
Yeah.
We're a Popeyes family, but we respect all fried chicken because it's the best food ever created. My opinion. Jackie likes vegetables and fruits because she's a nerd and will outlive me by 20 years.
That's not a bad thing. Don't say it.
She'll outlive me by 20 years easily. Oh, you're going to have to watch me die. Oh, so, but before that, we live in a world where KFC could gift you some KFC bath bombs, which are little drumstick-shaped bath bombs that you throw in the tub,
Cute,
and then it bursts with flavor that makes your bath smell like KFC. The 11 herbs and spices, if you will. So the only sad news is that you'll probably have to eBay this for a few $1,000s, just like that Szechuan sauce that people were into for a minute, because they're giving away 100 of these, and KFC Japan is who's giving it away. So
Japan's so weird. They have the weirdest little
it's like a sweepstakes, so you can't even
that.
buy it. So hopefully some smart Japanese person will win one and then put it up for $10,000 on eBay. And well, that's too far, but I bet you could get. Honestly, I bet you could get $6,000 to $8,000. That would be my assessment on this. So fun topic. Question is, if you could get a bath bomb in any scent, what kind of bath bomb would you get?
Oh, okay. In a weird scent, right? Like chicken.
I guess just any here's what I would say. Any scent that you couldn't readily get. So obviously you can get lavender.
You get bergamot. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
what the fuck's bergamot?
Ooh, a wonderful smelling flower.
Anyway, so nothing that's available. I
I-
think that's the case. It doesn't have to be weird, but obviously chicken is not a widely available
Yeah,
flavor. So what's something that's not
yeah,
out there
totally.
that you
I've been
want?
thinking about this. My pick for something kind of strange. I love the smell of fresh cut grass, but like
Ooh.
I can't lay out in it and like be in it a lot because it makes me itchy.
Yeah.
And not the smell of it necessarily, but like if I'm like sitting outside in the grass that's just been cut, like I think I have
Yeah.
allergies and I just don't know it
You do.
and haven't been diagnosed. But like it makes me itchy and I feel gross. But
That's
I
an
love
allergy.
the smell.
You just want to be like the tough country girl that I don't have allergies. I'm from a farm.
Yeah, but it's totally not true. I totally have allergies.
That's not how science works or allergies.
But I was reading that like that smell is actually the like that it's like an odor that the plants release, like the compound they release when they've been harmed. So it's like sort of like an emergency system.
That's why like fresh cut grass, because they're like,
It
we're getting chopped
oh
in
my
half.
God, they're trying to, yeah. So basically, yeah, I'm like, oh, so I want to like bathe in the blood of my enemies. Yeah.
See, you got a
With
dark
slash fresh cut grass.
place.
What about you?
I just want this KFC one, man. I don't even have an answer. That's why this story attracted me. I'm like, I want that. I'm not
It's
gonna
sort
pay
of like a
$6,000 for it like an idiot, but
White Castle has like candles that smell like sliders.
you know what smell I always like, and I think I've like told you this
What?
before, because you know how I used to smoke. The smell of like stale smoke on a woman, like with perfume also on, like a perfume smoke mix.
Oh, you're so like that just seems like a masturbatory fantasy you had as a child. Like
No,
there was an
it's
older woman who smoked and had
It's my
perfume and,
Freudian
like,
thing. It's
yeah.
my Freudian thing. I told you, my mom and my aunt would go out,
Yeah.
and they drop me off at my aunt. My mom would drop me off at my aunt's house. I'd hang out with my cousins, and they would go out or whatever. You know, just nothing like crazy. Just like it's the
Go hang
weekend
out,
and we
yeah.
are adults and we are friends. And that was back when you could smoke in the bar.
Yeah.
So who would pick?
anybody would smell.
Who would come home and give me hugs? A mom and an aunt that smelled like perfume and smoke. And for some reason, like
It's
when
comforting.
I mean, I don't think you should smoke because I do want you to outlive me by 20 years. Or hopefully I'll get into shape now and we'll both live those 20 years together. But either way, I don't want to see you fucking on an oxygen machine choking to death on your
Me
own fucking
either.
phlegm.
Yikes.
So that's why I don't want you to smoke. And I try not to tell you this because I know smoking is the hardest thing for you to give up. But like, when you come in like smelling like smoke, as long as it's mixed with perfume and it's not your breath. When your breath smells like smoke, that's still gross to me. But I smell it on your clothes or like in the hair. It's like a lady's hair. So it doesn't even be perfume. Maybe you got
So
like
gross.
shampoo or something in it and a little stale smoke. I'm like, it's not a sex thing because it doesn't get me hard. It makes me like feel
Comforted and
loved.
loved.
That's why it's like Freudian, but it's not
is
like
that why
gross
you fell in
Freudian.
love with me? Because I feel like I smelled like that. It's around my 20s.
Maybe, but there's a lot of girls that smelled like that. So
Yeah,
you had
that's
to
true.
follow through with being a delightful gal.
Intellectually curious.
Oh, thank God. Ah.
Interesting.
So that's it. But I mean, I would take like the KFC one for sure.
Yeah, I'd take just a flower.
I wonder, there's got to be, do you have any like sense, again, like it could be sexual, but I don't consider that smoke one sexual. Like, again, when you smell like that, I just want to like cuddle and like hug you. I don't want to like, I'm not
Yeah,
like, ooh,
well,
let's
scent
fuck.
memories are like your strongest.
Totally. So that's why I'm like, do you
your
have one that's
olfactory.
like male related? Not necessarily, again, it could be sexual, but even maybe
Yeah, I have a
just male
sexual
comfort.
one.
Okay, what's your,
Well, okay. Well, hold on. I have two. Sexually, blue, like cool blue or like blue mist or something. That cologne of my first boyfriend. And we didn't even have we never even hooked up. But like, I have so many like. I just was obsessed with him for a long
I
time.
gotta start wearing that.
So that like whenever I smell that, it just takes me to like sort of an obsessive.
I'm kidding. I wear
Sexual
better
place.
Do you like
do
to
wear
wear
better. Yeah, maybe your cologne even now. Like when I smell you, if you're gone and I'm like folding clothes or something, and I smell you, like it just reminds me of you.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, so I grew up on a farm. My dad's a farmer, and so whenever I smell manure, I think of him, and it's comforting. Mulch, like wet mulch, sometimes smells like manure, and reminds me of my dad in like a pleasant memory.
See, that makes sense.
You know?
See, now the smoke in the hair doesn't seem as
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. I'm like cow
you're smelling
poop.
poop, and you're like, Dad,
Dad.
Dad, I want to dance on your feet.
That's why the smells of the city are disgusting to me, but like out in the country I can handle anything. Any kind of animal feces, I'm like, yeah, it's not a big deal. But city smells, I'm like,
As soon as I
"This is fucking
smell
disgusting."
poop in the country, I'm like, this is so gross.
And I'm like,
city,
home.
city mouse over here. All right. You know, we didn't do too bad on time. Later than I wanted, but I'm not going to pretend like that wasn't my fault. All right. So Justin Golak is me, JustinGolak.com. JustinGolak.com, at JustinGolak on Twitter, Justin at JustinGolak.com. Send me them dick pics. Got shows coming up in November. Check out upcoming shows and come see one. Jackie Manti at Jackie_Manti on Twitter, JackieManti.com, and Jackie at JackieManti.com. Email, send her them tit pics.
Tit pics, mildlydepressed.com. Check it out.
Tight. All right. FemComPod.com for the podcast. For everything else, lowclass.com. That's LO-class.com. And don't forget to get them bonus episodes coming out soon. Get on for $1 over at patreon.com/LOClass, no dash. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you soon.